Man, this might be way bigger than it looks at first glance. Whenever a rumor pops up involving Myles Garrett, the gut reaction is always, nah, no shot. And yeah, most of the time, nothing happens. But a deal like this specific one, it's the kind that makes you sit back and really think it through before saying anything. Because this ain't just about trading a player. This is about shaking up the entire identity of the Cleveland Browns. Quick context. The proposal on the table would have the Browns sending Garrett to the Bears in exchange for 3 high draft picks, 2 first-rounders, 1 second, plus Dayo Odeyingbo. So yeah, this isn't some token move. This is a full-on rebuild package disguised as a trade. And that leads to the real question. Are the Browns actually ready for that? If you look at where this team is right now, it's kinda contradictory. On one hand, the roster isn't bad. The defense has talent. This team has shown it can compete, and it feels like they're just a few tweaks away from being a consistent playoff squad. But on the other hand, once you really dig in, there are still some major holes. The O-line is shaky. The offense stalls out way too often, and most importantly, this team leans heavy on a handful of stars. And nobody carries more weight than Myles Garrett. He's not just the best player on defense, he is the defense. He changes protections, eats double teams every snap, forces offenses to rewrite their entire game plan. So when you take that dude out of the equation, you're not just freeing up space, you're redefining how this team plays football. Now, looking at the offer purely from a value standpoint, 2 firsts, a second, and a young defensive end, on paper, that's a massive haul. And honestly, it tracks with the market. If you look at recent trades for elite pass rushers, that's about the going rate, maybe even a little low for a guy like Garrett. So strictly from an asset value perspective, the Browns would be winning. But football ain't just numbers on a spreadsheet. Let's talk real impact. If this trade goes through, everything changes. Right now, Cleveland is trying to win now, even with all the inconsistencies. Make this move, you're basically saying, yeah, we're not there yet. And that shifts the whole strategy. Heavy drafting, developing young guys, building a deeper, more balanced roster. In that scenario, it actually makes sense. You'd use those picks to fix structural issues, shore up the offensive line, bring in reliable receivers, maybe even start thinking long-term at quarterback. So yeah, you're trading one superstar for volume and flexibility. That's a smart rebuild, if you nail it. Now here's the risk, and there's always risk. Worst-case scenario is crystal clear. You give up the best defensive player in the league, and you whiff on the picks. And that happens all the time in this league. The draft is a gamble, no guarantees. You could end up with 3 average players, while Garrett keeps wrecking games in Chicago for the next 5 to 6 years. At that point, you're not just less competitive, you lose your identity. Because right now, the Browns' defense has a personality. And that personality starts with number 9-5. Another key factor, timing. Ownership has already hinted they expect Garrett to stay. That's not just PR talk. That tells you internally, the Browns still see themselves as contenders, not a rebuilding team. And that creates a strategic conflict. You don't trade a player like Garrett if you believe you can win in the short term. So if this deal does happen, it means the internal evaluation has changed. And honestly, that's the biggest takeaway here. My take? I get the logic behind the trade, but I wouldn't do it. Simple reason. Players like Myles Garrett don't come around twice. You can rebuild a roster. You can hit on draft picks. You can build something solid. But finding a defensive player who can take over a game by himself, that's rare. Real rare. And when you've got that guy, you build around him, not the other way around. Now, if the Browns truly believe they're still 2 or 3 years away from seriously competing, then yeah, the conversation changes. Because in that case, keeping Garrett might just waste his prime on a team that's not ready yet. And that matters too. Best case scenario with this trade, the Browns hit on their picks, build a deeper roster, find new cornerstone players, and come back stronger in 2-3 years. Worst case, they lose the best player in franchise history and stay stuck in mediocrity, just without a defensive identity this time. Meanwhile, on the other side, if you're a Bears fan, man, this is a dream. You add the best pass rusher in the league to a defense that's already trending up, and you fast-track the whole rebuild. This is the kind of move that clearly benefits the team trying to win right now. So the real question isn't even about the offer itself. It's about direction. Are the Browns trying to win now? Or are they ready to tear it down and build it back up the right way? Because that decision changes everything. And I gotta ask you straight up, if this offer actually landed on the table, do you pull the trigger on trading Myles Garrett? Or is he one of those guys you just don't move, no matter what's offered? Let's talk about it.